Welcome
Boy, that came out of
to
nowhere.
This is Caffeinate, your career coach. I am very well caffeinated today. Today's topic for Caffeinate Your Career: resume trends and myths for 2024. I am your host, the career coach with the most, Jason Hopper. With me today is our sensational Senior Director of Career and Financial Services, Miss Allison Harding.
Hi, everyone.
Allison, welcome to Caffeinate Your Career.
Thank you.
This is actually your first of the year. You were missing last week.
I was missing last week.
Welcome back. I'm glad that you're here. We are, in fact, live. If you guys, I see people are popping in now live. So if you're live, get active in the chat. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll be looking at the chat and we'll answer any questions you have regarding your resume. So your resumes, it's a marketing tool to help employers kind of get an idea of your skills and abilities, right?
Yes.
So we talked 3 weeks ago about job search trends for 2024. Job search changes every year.
Mm-hmm.
And that includes what's expected from employers on resumes as well, right? So one trend that is going to emerge even stronger than before is the rise of the digital resume.
So what does that mean, Jason?
So your resume doesn't have to be a Word doc or a PDF. It could easily be your LinkedIn profile. It could be a portfolio or your personal website. I do have some clients, they have their own website, right? And it's something else to direct employers to. Typically, your digital resume, whether it's on LinkedIn, your website, or a portfolio, it's going to be more visually appealing and you have more creative space to tell your story.
So everything that is used by companies to hire someone has to be able to showcase who you are and what abilities you have that can assist the company in completing their goals, reaching their goals. And so in the past, prior to, I'm going to say 2021, everything was done like this on paper.
Yeah.
Or, then you email it and attach it and all that kind. Today, everything's changing. Everything is digital. Everything is focused on being able to use your computer to create who you are as well as you can. That does not mean that you still don't need that written paper resume or something online that you can send. What it does mean is that if you are showing off skills and talking about those skills, there are other ways to be able to do that. And to be able to do it, you have to showcase it by having something online that you can present that is your own.
Yeah, that's a good point. And so I think because resumes are not going to be going away, it is a good idea to have like a Word doc or a PDF because that is typically what employers are expecting. I do think it's a great idea, especially if you have a portfolio, well, even like your LinkedIn, to put that, link that up on the resume so that they can go and check it out. Employers will be looking at your LinkedIn at the minimum, guys, but if you give them additional information like your portfolio or a website that they can go to and look at, you're just giving them more marketing material to help you out.
Yeah, you're building your brand.
Yes.
You're saying, I say I can do this. Come take a look, even before you give me a phone call to set up an appointment and see what I can do.
That's right. You know what's interesting? You hit the nail on the head. You said building brand. I'm going to be presenting a workshop, networking, this Thursday, 3 o'clock in my office, JFS 5402 Arapahoe Road, Dallas 75248. And I'm doing New Year, New You, how to brand yourself successfully in 2024. Come on down. I'd love to see you.
So I'm going to get a smidgen off topic, but it really does relate to this. Your resume is your sales tool, all right? You wouldn't go into a store and buy a shirt or a blouse or anything without looking at it, looking at the price, seeing the material, does it fit, does it work right? That's what the resume does. Is it the right price? Is it the right person? Is it the right skill set? Does it fit right? Can we get along together? Can you add value to me? That blouse or shirt is going to add value to you when you put it on. So when you look at your resume, you have to say, does this sell me? Does this showcase my brand, who I am, and the skills that I have to bring to your organization?
Correct.
And when you do that, you have to know the organization. So you have to research it, understand the industry and the changes and what's going on. And so these types of things, like a digital resume, a paper resume, I say paper, but you all know what I mean. Having things that an organization or a hiring manager, an HR person, or a recruiter can look at and say, this is the candidate.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get into a bit of that coming up, which is like what it is it's going to actually sell you
right
to and how much of it you need. Because
there's an over-under.
That is exactly correct. So, and just so y'all know too, so make sure that your brand is consistent throughout all social media. That's kind of an important thing.
What do you mean when you say that?
So, okay, I'll give you a great example. If you're going to have, if your brand is going to be that you are a project manager,
mm-hmm.
right? Okay. And these are the things that you can do as a project manager. Great. So your resume should read very close to your project management. Other social media should be fairly in line, especially it's still there. Like you can go to contact information on LinkedIn, you click the contact, and it says, I think it still says Twitter, but it's X. Like you could list out your X handle, your username, for employers to go look at. Okay, great. If they're going to do that, it better be consistent with project management as you go. Same thing for Instagram, right? If you have your Instagram to public where everybody can see it, it better be in line with project management stuff. I know some recruiters that do this. They're the exact same things they post on LinkedIn is the exact same thing that's posted on their Instagram, right? So
you
that
have
it's
to
consistent.
Be consistent. So if you're changing careers, let's say, and we have a lot of people doing that today, and your LinkedIn has the old information of what you did to get those types of jobs, and you want to be doing something else, you have to look at that with a professional who says, we need to take this down and put this up. So that brand is everywhere, which is what Jason is saying. It's
the other thing too. It's like, especially if you're changing careers, like how you need to position yourself is, this is what I did, this is how I got there, and this is where I am going. That's the formula for writing your about section and all the things, especially if you're changing careers. And speaking of LinkedIn actually now has a tool for recruiters. You know, we talk about AI, right? That's a big thing. It's going to come up again here in a minute.
It's real, baby. It's real.
And it's not good. By the way, we'll talk about this in a minute, but like it's been around since the 50s, 1950s. So some form of it has been around for a long time. But we'll talk about how it relates to the applicant tracking system here in a few minutes. But LinkedIn has a tool for recruiters. After they post the job, they can hit the button for AI, and it recommends profiles for them.
Oh, nice.
Yes, before they even go start searching for things, they can LinkedIn will just start recommending things. This is another reason why it is so important that your profile is 100% complete. And we'll talk about search engine optimization here in just a minute. It's for keywords so that you will get noticed when they hit that button for profile selections. So, well, hi, Sharon. I saw Sharon Harris pop in there. It's good to see you. All right. Coming up, 2024, there is going to be a huge emphasis on skills and achievements versus just listing out skills.
What's that mean?
So in previous years, I would always tell clients to, at the top of their resume, just list out like a couple of keywords and put them in bullet points. And that's not what employers are looking for coming up this year. What they're looking for is...
They are looking for that, but they're looking for more than that.
Well, yes, additional. So like, instead of just listing out skills, what they're suggesting is that you come up with, at the top of your resume, core competencies and achievements section, right? Where you can list out the skill and then tell how it is that you can help solve their problem. For example, we were talking about project managers. Let's say that's what you list down is project manager, okay? And next to it in the description, you could write proven track record of succeeding in fast-paced environments, completing multiple projects on time and under budget. That tells you how you solve a problem for an employer. Nope. Okay. I thought you were gonna had something to add.
I really don't. It's for so long, all we've put down are the skills, and now what you're having to do is, in a succinct way, explain how those skills are a benefit for other organizations and how you fine-tuned it so that it can benefit another organization.
It's that quantifying what it is that you actually do and how you can help the employer. And you're going to put it right up top, up there, I would say like above the fold, right? If it was a newspaper back in the day, right, above the fold, so that they could see what value you can bring, you know, as they're scanning, and they're still going to be scanning, like going through there. The other thing that's important to do is to make sure that you're going to tailor your resume to the job posting. Look, and we'll talk about search engine optimization in just a minute, but this ties into that. Like, you want to make sure you're using the right keywords to get to the top of searches. The other thing they're suggesting too is like to trim down your education section. We just mentioned that employers are going to be hiring more for skill versus degree, right? So if the job posting is listed and it says bachelor's preferred and you list out a master's degree, you could be hurting your chances of moving forward within the process.
So, and this is for any position. Many people have added on to their educational skills. So you've got a bachelor's degree, and then you decide to get a master's, and then you decide to get a PhD in something. Some positions require those. And if they do, you need to have them on there. But if they don't, it could be a hindrance because companies are thinking, I can't pay that much. They're not going to stay very long. They're going to be looking for something else. Those degrees, those titles can hurt you. They can help you. They can hurt you. You have to differentiate when they can help and when they can hurt. And if they hurt, take it off. You're not lying. You're just not adding all that information on. If they help, leave it there. If the job demands it, be sure that you have it.
Yeah, I was just talking to a client last week, and she's almost done with getting her master's degree. And her response was, I think it'll make me more marketable. Why? Why do you think that? Right? And she couldn't really put her finger on the reason why. Because what she's trying to do, the job that she's trying to do is not like requiring that degree, right? So it's just like she thought it would be a good add-on.
And it might be. We don't know. But she has to research that to find out if it is a good add-on or if it could be a detriment to her getting hired.
Yes.
I had a client who has a PhD who wasn't getting callbacks and was really qualified. And she took it off and she got callbacks and ended up getting a job. So that's one of those things also when you fill out your application, you do not have to put it on there.
Correct.
Okay, you're not lying. It's not saying, hey, put down all your education. Well, I started kindergarten. No. You just put down the things that will benefit you under education.
Right.
You're not lying. You're just not adding everything.
Right. And I think that's important. And so that leads into our next topic for things that you need to know for 2024 regarding your resume, which is search engine optimization, right? It's crucial that you understand it and how you can use it to get past the applicant tracking system. So you want to make sure that you're using relevant keywords that are listed within the job posting. There are a couple of different ways that you can do this. You can use JobScan. You can use word cloud. You can go old school method and just kind of read it real carefully, which I do suggest you do anyway, and see what words might repeat that might be important keywords or skills that they're looking for. And then if you've done it, make sure that it's in your resume and that you can quantify it.
So search engine optimization means someone creates a template of what they're looking for. And they either put in phrases or words or location or all these different things. And then they enter it into the system of where they're searching for resumes. And that those that match that information the best come up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you're trying to do. Have your resume come up and shine above all the others. And then those phrases, words, locations, whatever it is, are highlighted in your application so that when the person who's looking for it sees that, they see where it is and how it's being utilized. And we're going to talk about that.
So that's right. So one of the things that, again, with artificial intelligence, it can help with that in coming up with, like you could actually have ChatGPT compare two things together and then write. And by the way, I do not, guys,
do not
count on artificial intelligence to write your resume.
Please don't.
It's not going to work.
It's a template, just like, you know, it just don't do it. Just do it yourself, and then we'll help you finish it.
Yeah, so you're right. You have to have it sound like you and not like the robot. And that's kind of the difference between the two. Now, you can't train it to write in your voice.
But for the time it would take to do all that stuff, it's easier for you to put it together and then check those websites that Jason said that you can look at, that will look at your resume and say, this isn't enough, or this is too much, or this is just right.
Sharon Harris said, for all those that would like to connect, to connect with Sharon. Y'all out there, connect with Sharon. She's looking to connect with people, and she's a good person to be connected to. One thing that you need to know for 2024, really, anytime, is you need to understand how the applicant tracking system works.
Which is also called ATS.
ATS. So how does the ATS work, Al? So it's been around since the 1990s.
Forever.
And there's a lot of misinformation about how it actually works and what it does. And it's changed over the past few years. So things that we need to know about the applicant tracking system, right? The first is that it can't read text that's placed into headers or footers. So you're going to want to make sure that you don't use headers or footers if you're doing a Microsoft Word document. Second, it can't read text placed in text boxes. This is a big one.
Get rid of them.
So especially because I have clients that will go and they'll pull a template off of wherever. And then they just start plugging stuff into the template. Not a single applicant tracking system works with templates. They just don't understand it.
So templates are beneficial to you for you to look at and say this is where information should be, but it's not beneficial for you to use a template. It's not, because too many pieces of equipment cannot read it, and so you're just throwing your time away when you try and do that.
Yeah. I suggest anytime I see somebody that has a template, it's like rewrite it, just retype it up in a Word doc. Use that as a guide, but retype it. Also, too, it will scan text left to right as it parses. This is what happens. It scans the resume, and then it parses it and puts it in the fields where it thinks things are supposed to go. So if you have a column in there or a table, it doesn't quite know how to read it. So if you're
So that's something that would go on your digital resume,
correct,
but not on your paper resume or the one that you're going to email to someone.
so it doesn't understand, it doesn't care if words are bolded or if
Right.
there's color, or so it's just you and putting things together want to make sure that it's going to be easy for the and here's the thing that's funny, right? Because oftentimes, because we talk so much about the ATS, and everybody wants to write their resume geared towards the applicant tracking system,
Mhm.
they forget about the human. That's coming up in a minute. Like, you need to write your resume for the human as well.
There is someone who will be reading it
Yeah.
after the applicant tracking system, the ATS system, has chosen a number of resumes. There's supposed to be a human that's going to touch it.
Yeah.
And so you have to be sure that when you write it, you don't just write it to get through the applicant tracking system. You have to write it so that when we're reading it, or whomever is reading it can look at it and say, oh, this is a really good candidate, or oh, this is a candidate that just put in their keywords. How do they know when a candidate has done that?
Would they just throw in the keywords? It's like keyword stuffing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It so especially with the recruiter, it becomes real obvious, and you don't want to do things or tricks like keyword whiteout. And
Okay, we're going to explain what all this is.
Yeah.
So keyword stuffing means you're just throwing all the keywords that you saw in the job description into that resume. And what happens is when the applicant tracking system is looking at it, or a human, they're going to see it so much that they know that you just vomited this information to be able to get through the applicant tracking system. Well, the systems now are so sophisticated that they're programmed to say there's too many keywords in here, get rid of it.
Yeah.
So that's the over. The under is when you don't have those keywords throughout the resume. So it should be at the beginning, middle, and the end, but not 26 times. You have to do it the right way. And so when you do that, the system will look at it and say, good candidate, and the recruiter or whomever is reviewing them will look at it and say, good candidate.
Yes, and so we have comments. I'll go to the comments. So the other thing I just mentioned was keyword whiteout, right?
And what is that?
So we'll explain what that is. That's when like you take and you plug in all the keywords like at the bottom of your resume, and then you just make the font white so it doesn't appear on the document. The problem with that, and I just said that the applicant tracking system does not recognize color. So when you put your resume in there, it's going to say at the bottom, it's all going to be there. You will see all of it there. And again, too many keywords, keyword stuffing, it's not going to be good to move forward within the process.
So the reason those keywords should be throughout the resume is we want to see that you have this skill, that's going to be at the beginning, that you're using it, current job, and later on, past positions. So it's good where you can put a little bit throughout the resume and not try and fool the resume fool the applicant tracking system, because trust me, it is much smarter than we are.
So we have a question. Melissa Hargis asks, it seems that everyone is searching for something different. It seems that you have to reinvent yourself for each position. How can we show that we can do many things?
That is such a great question. We've actually, Phil, who works with us, has created a matrix, okay? And that matrix says, I want to be a project manager. I've done it for my company. I'm not called that, but that's what I want to do. So you look at project manager jobs, 10, 15, 20 jobs, and you make a matrix, okay? Let's say Texas Instruments, okay? And they have 8 bullet points to the job. The top bullet points are the must-have, the bottoms are the I wants. And you're going to look at the must-haves, and you're going to write down the most important phrase or word in that bullet point on this sheet of paper. And you're going to put check marks next to them, because that's what Texas Instruments wants. So the description is here, the company is here. check marks under Texas Instrument. And then you're going to go over here to iron manufacturing, okay? And you're going to put it right next to Texas Instruments, and you're going to look at their top 4 or 5 bullet points. And some of them will be the same. So you're going to put check marks next to those. All those companies where the terms and phrases are the same or additional ones. And then at the end, you add them up. And if must be able to manage multiple projects at one time. If of the 10 companies you looked at, 8 of them want that, that's what you want in your resume. If 10 of the 10 companies say must be able to travel 80% of the time or 50% of the time, then you have to be able to put that on your resume. Those are the things that the companies are going to be looking for. That way you only need one resume because all the different companies are looking for the same skills or the same abilities or the same travel expectations so that you can look at you can focus on how to present yourself versus rewriting the resume all the time.
Yeah, you're writing a industry-specific
Yes.
resume versus trying to write different ones. Yes. And then Monica said that
I hope that helps, and if not, you can call us at
972-437-9950, extension 379. Leave a message. Somebody from the team will get back to you within 24 hours to start that process.
So we can help you really do that. And the Matrix is an incredible tool to help people be able to focus on what companies are looking for in an industry.
And then Monica said that it made so much sense and that she has 2 resumes, one that has graphics and all the things, and then one that is just a straight text resume. It makes sense.
Perfect.
And what makes sense about that is if you have all the bells and whistles, you can email it, DM, hand it to somebody, and it looks nice and pretty. But then you have one that is applicant tracking system compliant, and that makes all of the difference. Also, too, last bit about applicant tracking systems, they can read PDFs.
Now.
They can read PDFs, but they don't read as well as Word documents. They can still scan them, but it's because it's essentially a picture. It doesn't translate as well as a straight up Word document. So I do still recommend that you use a Word doc over a PDF.
So some people feel that if you use a Word document that somebody's going to change it. So what? If they change it, it's going to be for the better. Okay, so the reality is Word documents are A-OK, and you should be able to use them. Also, in the older ATS systems, and I don't know if it's still relevant, but if you put a line from margin to margin across your paper, that means the end to the applicant tracking system. So let's say you put your name, your email address, your phone number, and your LinkedIn, and then you put a line under that, which a lot of people do.
I just got karate chopped right there by Allison. Allison just karate chopped me in the neck.
And if you put that line, it doesn't read anything below that line. So get rid of any margin to margin lines. You don't need them. It doesn't add any value or any beauty or anything.
So, just that, guys, a couple of things, about the applicant tracking system, and just make sure that you have a resume that will be compliant so that you get a chance to get some eyeballs on it.
Yeah, don't use fancy fonts or crazy fonts, or just be basic, okay? It's your tool. It's your sale. It's your shirt or your blouse. Just go with it.
And Monica says that she usually does use PDFs. That's fine, but it'll read better on a Word doc, Monica. Okay, other trends that for 2024 for your resume, and this is a trend that started this past year, and it's expected to continue through this year, which is less is more. If you are listing out your employer and the things that you did, I do not recommend that you have more than 5 bullet points per employer. Also, too, this is the formula you need to follow. Again, you want to show and not tell. So it should be what you did, how you did it, and what is the result. This goes back to what we just said at the very beginning. Employers are not looking for just skills. They want to know how you can quantify each of the things.
And you have to be very precise and concise in doing that in a resume. It just has to be one of those things where completed 4 projects simultaneously under budget and within each time restraint, helping the company improve their profits by 4%.
That's right. Anytime that you, at the end of the day, it is always about money. How much money did you bring in? How much money did you save? How much cost reduction did you do? And if you can put down a percentage or a ballpark on it, if you don't know the exact,
it's okay.
It's okay. And you are showing how you can help the employer and improving your value add.
And if you can't use improve profits, something like that, you can say save the company time by completing projects 30 days early. Wow, that's really good because you have saved us time. Therefore, you've also saved us money, and you will be able to have additional work that you can do that is a benefit for the company. So all those little tricks and trades by using numbers in there,
yes,
to be able to state your goals completed.
And that's the next point. It's like, what makes you stand out? Mm-hmm. Because on paper, barring a year or two of experience, everybody is the same. So, for example, managing a multi-million-dollar project is much different than saying managing one that's $500K. Or if you manage a team that is worldwide and global versus I manage 3 people in the office.
So you may manage some people. They may not have been global, but they could have been remote. Manage internal and remote employees or team members, or however you want to put it. And being able to, $500,000 for some people might be a drop in the bucket, whereas to other people it's a lot. So being able to say multi-million or, whatever, however you want to phrase it, is a benefit to you.
So we had a great question, Monica, and that's actually coming up. Monica asked, can you explain more about boldness or colors? I have a simple layout for the ATS, but there is some color to it. That's fine, and
it's not going to read it.
It's not going to read it. The ATS doesn't care. And that was like one of the last points, because it was, as I write the notes, like the things that repeat. So for you guys that don't know, when I do the research for any episode of Caffeinate Your Career, I read anywhere from 4 to 6 articles online and just mash them together. And the ones that are at the top, which we've already covered, are the ones that repeat the most. But color was one of them. We were talking about writing the resume for the reader, mm-hmm. right? So a little bit of color is fine. The applicant tracking system doesn't care, but make sure you have the right kind of color. Like, don't use like bright red or yellow, or I suggest like kind of a deep blue kind of color. It's just like royal blue. It's just blue is, as a color overall, calming. Think about that. You want the reader to be calm while they're reading your resume, right? Blue.
What color is on your resume?
What color is on your Sharon Harris asked, can Jason repeat about the office hours this week?
What are your office hours, Jason?
I am here from 8 to 5, and I'm usually here earlier than that. And so,
if the son's in a good mood, he's here earlier. If he's in a bad mood, he's
yeah, that's true. That's true.
He drives his son to school in the morning.
That's right. And if the kid is lagging and dragging his butt, some days I do not get in as early as I'd like to. Bye, Sharon. You gonna come see me? Come on down.
Or you could come on Thursday to hear more about branding from 3 to 4:30.
Monica says office green. I don't know what color office green is. Are you talking about Dunder Mifflin? I don't know. And Sharon said Allison got that look. And Sharon says for all the meetings. So yes, I will be doing a branding presentation Thursday in our office from 3 to 4:30. I'm also doing it tonight at the Workforce in Plano at 1101 Resource Drive, Plano, Texas 75074 from 5:30 to 6:30. Okay. Video. Video is an emerging trend and is always good, especially if you're creative. It should be a 1 to 2 minute video of you telling your story and how you can solve a problem. What it is that you do, introducing yourself, and what problems you solve. Please make sure that your lighting is good and that your microphone is close to you when you do the video.
Do not use the fake backgrounds because it skews your head.
That's right. But yeah, anything that's blurry or, like the tropical setting or Mount Rushmore, like use like
library behind you.
Yeah, use like a regular kind of a background.
Just your home or your office or whatever it is.
And do your video.
Or JFS.
Yeah, if you want to come up here, I'll let you record in this room. Okay.
The videos are important because if you do a video interview and people oftentimes say, I don't like them, the benefit is if that company likes you, but they maybe don't feel that you fit into that job, but there are 3 other jobs they feel you might be good at, they can just send it to those managers and say, hey, we interviewed this person. This is how they presented. I think from what they said, and we've got the resume, the paper resume. This is how we think they would be good for you. So they're not comfortable because you're talking to nobody, but they're really beneficial.
And also too, it's not something that comes natural, and so you might have to do a couple of different takes. You might have to edit it and splice it up a little bit to make it work. But that is the benefit of it, is that it can get sent out into different places, especially too, guys, if you are tech savvy enough to do the video and you know how to link it up. You can just send the link and people can just go and look at the link instead of trying to send out a heavy, dense file attached to it like an email, say, right? It's the thing that makes the difference. One of the things that I suggest too is that you include that you on your resume, because it's kind of important. Like, where are we right now? We're right here in the JFS office, but y'all are out there virtually. A lot of things are being done remotely. Now, most companies are moving towards a hybrid type of model.
So what does hybrid mean?
Hybrid means that you are going to be in the office at least 2 to 3 days a week, and you have the option of working at home
2 to 3 days.
2 to 3 days a week.
So people are saying, oh, I only want remote. That's probably not going to be a forever solution.
No.
If you can be flexible with that, that would be great. It's really important. Companies are finding that it's not as beneficial for them creativity-wise, and which is why they're having people come back in. They'll probably not have people come in 5 days a week. Most likely, some companies will, but many won't. And so if you're looking for that hybrid model, look for those companies that do that. If they say you have to be in the office 5 days a week and you can't do that for whatever reason, that's not the company for you. And it's okay for you to say, you know what, thank you so much, but I really need some flexibility.
Yeah. What was it? You said not too long ago, there was a company that said that if they don't get people back in the office, that they will be out of business, like within a few years. Do you remember? No? Okay.
Okay. I mean, there's all sorts of models for companies, and some companies have to have Amazon. You have to go to the warehouse and work. You can't do that remotely. So
Right.
If you take a job at Amazon in the warehouse, you have to know that 40 hours a week you're going to be in that warehouse. Yeah. And they have also gone from a remote model in corporate to a flex model.
Well, and for us, because we are a client service business and we are people facing, and so it's, pretty much most of my clients are in person now.
Yeah, during the pandemic, all of our clients were Zoom. Yep. or Teams or however we did it. But today that's changed because clients want to know who you are. Can you really help me? Can I trust you? I'm giving my time to you to help me build my career. And meeting in person, people feel more comfortable. And sometimes they meet 1 or 2 times in person and say, you know what, let's do Zoom. So it's, again, however you want that hybrid model to work.
Yes. Also, we're getting close to time. Just real final thing. This went very fast, and I knew that it would. Real quick, last bit. for your resume for 2024. Do not write chunky blocks of text.
What's that mean?
So don't go and start describing things and writing things that are, like that. Nobody wants to read that. Nobody will read that. Whether it is a LinkedIn post or on your resume, you need to have things bulleted out. Make sure that we say less is more. You need more white space. Like make it visually appealing so that I want to continue to read the resume. But if it is like blocky, like you need to hit return a couple times to break that up.
So also maybe you're applying for a position where where it's beneficial that you've written articles for a magazine or a newsletter that your company has or different things. You can put a link in your resume so that if the company wants to look at those, they can. Don't copy it and attach it to your resume. It's not going to be a benefit to you.
No, not at all. Okay, so hopefully that was some helpful tips for projected trends for resumes in 2024. Allison, for our fun question today, it's the new year.
Mm-hmm.
So far, what has been your favorite meal of the new year?
Well, I'm sort of going to cheat.
Okay.
For New Year's Eve, we did a fondue. My kids were in, and so we did we put broth in a fondue pot and have all the veggies and all the meats and different things, and then we do a cheese and have the bread and the fruits and the veggies, and then we do a chocolate, and that's like a free-for-all.
Wow.
Yeah, that was fun.
What goes with the chocolate?
Any kind of fruits, pound cake.
Oh, yeah.
The kids wanted to put in chocolate chip cookies, when you're 3, anything you want.
Sure.
So we did. They're just all good.
Excellent. My favorite meal so far has actually been the meal that I made yesterday, which was stuffed salmon.
Oh, that sounds good.
And stuffed salmon was a side of spinach yesterday for dinner, and it was amazing.
So Jason, it's not a resolution, but he has decided to eat more vegetables, things that are green. And so it's nice to hear him say spinach.
Yes.
Instead of mac and cheese.
Yes, spinach. A couple of few more comments. Sharon says she will be here on Thursday. Monica, I will see you later this evening at the workforce. Guys, next week's topic is going to be PQ.
What is PQ?
That's a good question, Allison. What is PQ?
Sign in and find out.
All right, we'll see you next week for PQ. Bye, guys.